Devon Larratt, Todd Hutchings, big names like these have openly supported arm wrestling contracts that prevent you from competing anywhere else. And I myself is a big believer in contracts. I made a video a couple of years ago, a little more than 2 years ago. This was the thumbnail, maybe you guys can read it. I'm not going to do any editing on this one, that's why I'm showing it to you here. Arm Wrestling Promoters War, WL, PL, Arm Wars, Top 8, personal record, Engin Terzi. I mentioned Engin Terzi here because at that time there was no East versus West name. It was around the time of the first East versus West event where Engin himself competed, and at that time the name wasn't there. So my reasoning behind making this video was that the friendly relationships, whatever we are seeing these days around those times between the promoters, that is not going to last very long. We will see a war between these promoters for getting some super matches, and there will be a return of contracts. I said that more than 2 years ago, and right now we are kind of seeing that we are approaching towards that time. It took more than I anticipated, but I think we will be there. As I said, I am a personal believer in contracts. I don't know much about them, but why do I say that I'm a believer in them? Because there is no big mainstream sport that doesn't have contracts. So it kind of shows us something. The sport, maybe it cannot get big without the contracts. Maybe they are necessary. Can you guys name one big sport that does not have strict contracts? Can the UFC fighters compete somewhere else? Same with NBA. Same with other big leagues. Can a WWE wrestler compete in TNA? I don't think so. There are some friendly collaborations which always happen and which are going to happen in the future as well, like between King of the Table and East versus West. But contracts basically mean that you can compete somewhere, but that other person where you want to compete has to have good relationships with me. When I uploaded this video, I got banned after that by Engin Terzi because maybe he didn't like that video. Now there is one incident where AWE promotion, Ryan Bowen's promotion, they uploaded a video saying that TODD is not going to compete in their event because he has signed a exclusive contract with a particular promotion which doesn't allow him to compete anywhere else. But this kind of indicates that it is Engin who is stopping him from competing there, because Engin and Ryan does not have a good relationship, which is a possibility. But then it says, they themselves said that TODD is not going to compete in any other promotion after this John Brzezinski match on August 12 at the AWC Fight Night. So if he's not going to compete even at their event after this, then it is not about just Ryan Bowen. It is not about that personal beef. Lachlan Adair competes at East versus West and also at AWE. So another example that maybe it is not Engin Terzi who's trying to stop people from competing in Ryan's event. Derek Smith is going to compete against Lachlan Adair in the next event possibly, and he's going to compete at East versus West as well. So one more example, in the next year Dave Chaffee is going to compete at AWE and he competes at East versus West as well. So far there are so many examples showing that maybe Engin is not the one who is behind this. Maybe it is not about his personal feelings. I'm a big fan, as I have already said twice in this stream, in this video, that contracts are a necessity. And some people who do not have the ability to promote themselves to get big matches, to get good money, for them contract is a must. They get way more money through contracts than they can ever make by themselves through social media or through getting matches themselves, because they are not like outspoken kind of personality. So for them it is necessary. But I don't think contracts should involve personal emotions of a promoter. It is okay if you want to prevent your athlete from getting injured. Zurab Tabbaridze, every time Engin invited him, every time he competed there, made a name for himself. So Engin basically made Zurab's career. Under those situations, he must have kept Zurab under an exclusive contract. Why? Because Zurab went there at the AMC, he got injured, and now what's up? He cannot compete. There was a match scheduled for Zurab at East versus West and it couldn't happen. So in these cases, it would have made total sense for Engin to have exclusive contracts because he basically built Zurab's brand. Zurab didn't do it all by himself. Yes, he competed, yes, he won, yes, he lost, he pinned John Brzenk, all of that, but it was not all by himself. So one reason is to prevent injuries. And once you make a character, once you build an arm wrestler's career, other promoters can just use it, all of your hard work. That also doesn't sound good. The third reason can be killing competition. That's also a good thing. It may sound evil, but why would East versus West, why would King of the Table want any other promotions to flourish? We are beyond those times where everyone should organize as many super matches as possible because there was nothing. Now there are like 15-20 pay-per-views every single year. So why would these big organizations want small organizations to possibly rise up to their level? Just doesn't sound good. When, let's say, a toothpaste company tries to monopolize its business and tries to buy other brands or kill their competition by giving products at a much cheaper price that the smaller organizations cannot afford. They try to kill the competition and create a monopoly. We never have a problem with that. It is the nature of the business. East versus West is a business. No matter what anyone tells you, including Engin Terzi, a business is always about growth and profitability. If there was no growth, if there was no profitability, there would be no East versus West. It is at the end of the day a business. Same goes for King of the Table. Same goes for AWE. Same goes for Pro Punjab League. Pro Punjab League is big on contracts. Why? I've talked with the promoter and he's like, I'm helping those guys build a brand. He has spent millions of dollars, not millions, but at least 1 million, more than that on arm wrestling promotions in last couple of years. And now he's built characters out of the players. Now they're really famous. And now some other organizations can just create a new event and use the athletes that their careers were built because of Pro Punjab League. It just doesn't sound good. So to kill competition, to prevent others from using your hard work, to prevent injuries, these are all good things and we need contracts for them. Injury is a big issue, a big issue. If I've spent some money on an arm wrestler, I would want him to be under some kind of obligation that he cannot compete anywhere else, at least before my event, so that he doesn't get injured. At first, there were not enough matches. WL contracts were good. They were like $15,000 a year and you had to compete. Even the low level players had to compete like 2-3 times. They didn't even get that many matches sometimes. Now there are going to be enough matches and I think the contracts are good for 90% of the arm wrestlers. For some, it is not good. Like Devon versus Levan match. Engin tried to make that match happen almost 2 years ago, more than 2 years ago. And King of the Table tried that match. Igor Mazurenko tried that match. So the promoters' war is already happening. It is going to increase in the future. It shouldn't be personal issues. That's when I have a problem with contracts. You cannot compete there because I don't like that person. That's why I'm going to have you under my contract. This is not good for the sport and it doesn't look good. I immediately lose respect for a person who says that I don't like that guy. If you associate yourself with that guy, then I'm not going to like you as well. But I may like everything else about you. I have zero problem with you, but that just one thing that you have some association with that person and now I'm also, or you are also my enemy, just like him. That is something that I personally don't really enjoy. It's a topic that deserves a separate live stream. Maybe I can talk about it forever. You may have guessed it by now. And you may have guessed it by now that I'm going to ask you guys to like this video and subscribe this channel. Thank you. Bye.